And now it's time for another edition of Weirdest Martial Arts Techniques Ever!
Ready? You know it! Hold on! Let's do it!
Welcome, my friends, to Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Okay, let's get some questions out of the way first. Yes, so far I'm enjoying Power Rangers Samurai. And yes, we will be updating the theme song to History of Power Rangers. It's just I'm waiting for the 6th Ranger to appear before we do so. And yes, I have borne witness to the awesome Super Sentai scene from Gokaiger, in which all of the previous Sentai teams go into a huge massive battle. You can find it on YouTube if you haven't seen it yourself. Once again, it's time for us to explore the land of things that could have been but weren't. As I stated at the end of the last video, Disney planned to end Power Rangers and just show reruns for syndication, like many of the shows it had acquired from Saban. However, it was suggested that if production was moved to New Zealand, it would save money while still allowing for the show to continue, at least for another season. Amit Bhawmik, one of the story writers and editors on Wild Force, planned what many could consider to be the height of fanfiction style, and yet still incredibly awesome ideas for Ninja Storm. Oh, and speaking of fanfiction, Amit Bhawmik was one of the people behind Scorpion Rain, that fan film / hoax that I talked about during the Turbo review. And he's also the writer of Forever Red. That was all I had planned to say on the subject, and when the videos are already very long, mentioning that fact really wasn't necessary for the 10 minutes I talked about Forever Red. That was all I was going to say concerning Scorpion Rain, other than Amit saying that in his mind, Scorpion Rain was in canon while writing Forever Red. My opinion on its non-canonicity has not changed, nor will it ever. Anyway, his plan has been dubbed the Hexagon. Essentially, Tommy would return as the head of a Power Rangers Academy, featuring a few other veteran Rangers from across the franchise, kind of a Justice League of Power Rangers. However, they'd be the supporting cast for the 3 new Rangers, the Ninja Storm Rangers, who would be the new prodigies of the Academy. The Phantom Ranger, not liking the idea of uniting all of the Ranger teams together for some dumb reason, would fight Tommy on this, leading to a kind of Power Rangers civil war that would end on kind of a depressing note. Given some of the plot elements for Ninja Storm, that might have worked, but I'm reluctant to say it's a good idea. From a budget perspective, it would mean tons of guest stars flown into New Zealand and having to stay there during the several months spent filming, plus Hurricaneger, the Sentai Ninja Storm is adapted from, did not have about 10 other sets of teams running around. That means that if the other Rangers were going to be hanging around and morphing, it would mean a ton of original footage and less Sentai footage, which is a no-no when you're trying to make a Power Rangers show on a tighter budget. To make matters worse, after it was presumed that the show was being cancelled, a good chunk of the remaining props and costumes were either destroyed or auctioned off. A lot was saved after the show was renewed, but they still lost a considerable amount of material. So a lot of older material would have had to be made from scratch again. But like I said, from a story perspective, it would have been pretty damn neat. This series gives us Rangers early on who are at odds with the others, which could be adapted into Rangers working for the Phantom Ranger, and Tommy would become the Green Ranger again, along with a nice big gold shield, bringing us full circle. But yeah, realistically, that just wouldn't work for the show. It's a popular misconception that this season was supposed to be completely free of continuity. Former writers Ann Austin and Doug Sloan were returning to the show as the producers, and several comments they made when the series was being promoted led people to this conclusion, along with a few lines of dialogue from the first episode. They were quoted as saying things like, "It's a new beginning," and "Power Rangers lost its luster after we left." The two never actively considered any previous series out of continuity, though, nor did they ever intend to be a series where Power Rangers had never happened before. Mind you, the dialogue in the first episode doesn't help, but people often need to give first episodes a little more leeway, since ideas and concepts developed for a first episode are often discarded by the end of the series. There's no team-up episode with the Wild Force Rangers, severely disappointing for me, since after what happened in the finale last time made me want to see them reclaim their jackets and morphers, but this was due to cost and union reasons. Admittedly, with this season, it's easier to claim that there are no previous Ranger teams if you're really going for an entirely original universe than, say, having the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles say it. And no, there was nothing said in that episode to suggest that they're from an alternate universe themselves or something. Everything in the episode indicated that they were in the same universe. However, as we'll see next season, Ninja Storm is most definitely a part of the same universe. Which makes one character saying that they knew that Power Rangers were real something really bizarre. This is not something that people can just ignore. The Power Rangers have been active, known public figures. Lots of buildings have been destroyed. There was a freaking alien invasion! You can't ignore this and say this didn't happen or that no one knew about it. Look at it! Widespread death and destruction. They landed. They made the announcements. The Power Rangers saved the day. But we're getting off track. This is also the first season filmed in New Zealand for cost-saving measures. As a result, the production team began hiring New Zealanders for the parts. Sometimes it works, other times they try to hide their accents and it sounds really, really silly. Ironically, because of the violence of the show, Power Rangers is banned from airing in New Zealand. It's a funny old world, isn't it? The season begins with Prelude to a Storm, with a narration that gives away the entire plot.
Deep in the mountains, secret ninja academies train our future protectors. Ancient scrolls told of 3 who would be chosen above the others. 3 who would become.
What's annoying about this is that it plays at the beginning of every episode, even when the amount of Rangers expands. Still, I can sleep comfortably in my bed knowing ninjas watch over me. The theme song, it's hard to say how I feel about it. I never really liked it all that much when I was watching the show, but afterwards I started singing it to myself and listening to it again. The one weird thing about it, though, is that the first time I heard it, I heard a different song.
Power Rangers, go! Ninja Storm, let's go! Feel the wind, go! Engine the flight thunder, go! Power Rangers, go! Ninja Storm, let's go! Help me run, 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 yeah, get her out of my heart.
The series itself begins when we see our main characters doing extreme sports. Tori is surfing, Shane is skateboarding, and Dustin is dirt biking. I should note that this is also the first series to feature only 3 main Rangers to start with, so we're getting something different for this one. The 3 are also already friends and are attendants of the aforementioned Ninja Academy. Then they decide to talk about how Tori is always the reliable one, whereas they are always late. And how do they describe it?
Look, in any group, there are different kinds of people. Totally true, yeah. Think about, like the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers? You've gotta be joking.
No, okay, there's always like the mellow, like reflective dude. Then there's the risk taker, the adrenaline guy. That would, of course, be me. Oh, yeah, right. And you, Tori, you're the logical one.
You guys have to lay off the comic books. Seriously.
Ha! Irony. They reach the Ninja Academy by walking through a forest before getting knocked down by other ninjas and throwing off their clothes. So they were just wearing those heavy black outfits behind their normal clothes? Ah, and ninjas can run on water, because ninjas are magic. Yeah, the three summarily get their asses kicked despite their Naruto ninja powers. By the way, anyone else seeing the color-coded academy and thinking Slifer red, Obelisk blue, Ra yellow? The three are met by the shape-shifting sensei Kanoi Watanabe, who says that the lesson is over. Wait, that was it? Maybe you ought to teach them something instead of just throwing ninjas at them.
I am very disappointed. I will expect a visit from you, so that we may discuss your lack of commitment to your ninja training.
Hey, they got halfway completed. It's better than most people could do. The three enter a portal to the Wind Ninja Academy.
You have been students at the Wind Ninja Academy for nearly a year, and yet you fail to see the importance of punctuality.
Yes, I'm sure there are more people who need to beat the snot out of them. So, why is this called the Wind Ninja Academy when only one of the Rangers will be harnessing the power of air while the other two get different elements? Also, we meet Cam, the sensei's son, who apparently decides to walk around the academy in casual clothes. A portal starts opening up over the academy. Oh god, the time holes from Time Force are back! Quick, somebody start shooting crystals! No, this heralds the return of Lothor, the big bad of the season. The next day, the Rangers head out early to get to the academy, but they stop to help a couple in distress, much to Shane's irritation. Lothor and his generals arrive at the academy.
The dark energy is strong in you.
The dark side I sense in you.
The generals attack the ninjas with the foot soldiers this season, the Kelzaks, and rain down laser destruction on the academy. While the three proceed on their way to the academy, Lothor and Kanoi begin their battle. One of the generals, Chubo, releases energy spheres that snatch the ninja students and bring them up to Lothor's spaceship in orbit. The three main characters arrive at the academy as the school itself starts dissolving, leaving them the only remaining students and the area devastated. Lothor learns of the three still in the area and dispatches his fourth general, Zergain, to deal with them. Amidst the rubble, they find Cam and make a hasty retreat to a hidden cave as Lothor's ship resumes firing on the area. There they find Kanoi, but he's been transformed into a guinea pig. Because... I have no idea. He explains about Lothor.
Once a great ninja, he was banished from the earth when his hunger for power turned him to the dark side. When our energy fields collided, I was transformed into what you see before you. Now he has returned and has brought an army that will do everything to take our planet for their own.
He says to bring out the Morphers, much to Cam's irritation.
These are your Power Ranger Wind Morphers.
You're right.
Yes, see? I knew it, dude. I was right. Power Rangers are real.
You're Andros. The Red Ranger. I was there. The day you and the Rangers saved the Earth.
Power Rangers are real.
He then explains their powers.
Dustin, child of the earth, true to your heart, you will embody the powers of the Yellow Wind Ranger. Corey, fluid and graceful like the water, you will become the Blue Wind Ranger. Shane, reaching for the stars, you will command the powers of the Red Wind Ranger. From this point, you will be known as the Wind Power Rangers, protectors of the Earth.
What, no United We Roar?
So, what exactly does this thing do?
Where's the switch?
Does it have any games or what?
No, it doesn't have games, but it has
Ladies and gentlemen, the defenders of the galaxy.
As a monster comes out with the Kelzaks, the three emerge to fight.
Ninja Storm Ranger. What is it again? Ninja Storm Ranger form.
It's Ranger form.
Ugh, dude, watch and learn. Ninja Storm Ranger form. Ha! Power of Earth. Ninja Storm Ranger form. Ha! Power of Air.
Power of water!
Later parts of the season always make the same mistake of not using the theme song anymore when the team does something epic, like morphing or summoning Zords. The thing is that even if the theme song isn't that great, it really evokes the awesomeness of Power Rangers. That's part of the Wasserman factor. The theme song is one of the best parts of the show. It's been a motif ever since the show began. When you use it, it elevates a fight. If you don't use it, you should have a good reason not to.
Twin Rangers Ninja Storm. Power Rangers. All right, boys. Step aside. On your left. All in the wrist.
And it's also a handy laser blaster.
Yes, even clumsy exposition can be ignored when there is badassitude happening. Also, hang gliders. The hell? And their weapons are a hammer, a hairdryer, and a megaphone. Because those are very ninja. Ninjas are apparently anything anyone wants them to be, and yes, I know, fiction, blah blah, but it just gets kind of irritating. Anyway, the visors for this season, like the Lightspeed Rescue Team, actually open up, which I like. Sure, I prefer when they take off the helmets altogether, but this is still better than never doing it at all, which is something I don't think either Time Force or Wild Force ever did. Taking off the helmets helps build the idea that the characters are actually inside of the suits, and it's not just some random stunt people, though in the scene immediately afterwards, we see them helmetless. Okay. I like the Ninja Storm suits. The ninja theme, despite the bright colors, is demonstrated in the overall aesthetic of the design, and the addition of the gray areas, which is something the Rangers haven't done before. It gives them their own unique flavor. Anyway, the Rangers meet back up in the basement.
You did well this time, Rangers. But understand that there will be battles in the future. Lothar will not rest until the Earth is completely under his command, or until he is destroyed. The future is in your hands, Power Rangers.
Prelude to a Storm is once again a very fast start to the season. What I think hurts it is that they try to push the inexperienced angle a bit too much. It's one thing to show that these may not be the first and best choices to be Rangers, but it's entirely different to show them screwing up with the morphers. The morphing sequence is supposed to be one of those glorious highlights of the first episode, or sometimes second, of the season to show how awesome the team is. Yeah, you can play with it a little after they've first morphed, but we shouldn't be seeing them as so incompetent that they can't remember 4 words that go in rhyme. Something else you'll probably have noticed is the sound quality. Everyone sounds like the boom mic is right in front of their faces and then sent through bad processing. Apparently the post-production team in New Zealand wasn't at the same quality as the American one, and improvement didn't occur until around the middle of next season. As such, this season and the beginning of the next one take a bit of getting used to with the sound quality. Here are some more expositional bits for you. The underground base also serves as a holodeck. Cam is also the one who designs the Zords. Lothar's monsters are referred to as aliens, which are summoned by his niece's cell phone, which also is used to make the aliens grow. Oh, also, Dustin's real name is Waldo. Shane gets the Hawk Zord, Tori gets the Dolphin, and Dustin has the Lion Zord. While they're stored in an underground hangar, they're released via holographic projections. The Lion is actually hidden as a roller coaster. You know, the Dolphin hiding as a boat and the Hawk as a plane makes sense, but the roller coaster... No one's gonna notice a roller coaster in the middle of nowhere? And if it's at a carnival, no one's gonna notice the roller coaster that suddenly vanishes? They form the Megazord, and maybe it's just me, but does anyone else hear the original Go-Go Power Rangers music as the incidental background music?
We did it!
It's a Megazord!
Mega cool!
The Ninja Megazord is okay, though the asymmetry of the shoulders is kind of head-tilting and distracting. Weapons for the Megazord are deployed by power spheres, though the actual command for summoning the spheres comes in the form of discs, with various different options that can be utilized in toys. Lothar decides to up the ante against the Rangers, summoning 2 Rangers of his own, and this is only the 2nd episode, mind you. And the Megazord has a lightning mode that lasts 60 seconds and slims down a lot of the extra weight on the Megazord so it can move faster. One wonders why this isn't the default mode instead of the cumbersome shoulder pads and whatnot. In Looming Thunder, we're introduced to Blake and Hunter, adopted brothers who dirt bike on the same track as Dustin. Yeah, they're obviously the 2 new Rangers, the Thunder Rangers. What I like about this is that since Lost Galaxy, every 6th Ranger introduced has started as an antagonist to the Rangers both in civilian and morphed form, to varying degrees, whereas here we get it a little bit different. The 2 have different personalities. Blake is more friendly and talkative, while Hunter is a little cold and antisocial, and both come off as a little stuck up, but otherwise they're not considered enemies or jerks right away. Just as an aside though, these 3 are all supposed to be teenagers. It was goofy back in Mighty Morphin, and it's goofy here. How rich does Dustin have to have a freaking motocross bike that he does as his standard form of entertainment? How many kids do you know whose primary form of entertainment is extreme sports that they participate in? Still, I'll give them credit, these guys actually look like teenagers. Anyway, the Thunder Rangers themselves loom in the background until a three-parter Thunder Strangers. Zergain recommends that they hit the Rangers at the Storm Charger store, but Lothor kicks that plan to the ground.
How many times must we go over this? A Ranger's power can only be destroyed when he's in his full Ranger form.
Of course, sir.
Therefore, we must defeat them at the right moment. Otherwise, all our efforts will be in vain.
Wait, you can only destroy them when they're at their most powerful? Or, you could just shoot them in the head when they're in civilian mode. I mean, come on, the series is already making up crap to pretend that there's some deep ninja philosophy that has nothing to do with actual ninjas, so stop pretending there's some deep philosophical reason why the Rangers can't be attacked in their regular locations. Otherwise, why do you keep sending Kelzax down to attack them? This, I think, is one of the attempts by the show writers to make this season a bit more comedic than previous ones, but we'll talk about that at the end. The Thunder Rangers finally make their attack on the three.
Who are you?
What's with the attitude?
Hello? Anybody home?
Obviously, you didn't get the memo. Old Rangers out. New Rangers in.
What? You expect us to fight you?
After kicking the three around for a bit, they then inexplicably decide to leave. The sensei says their fighting style matches those of the Thunder Ninja Academy, something confusing to the Rangers since they thought Lothor had captured all of the ninja academies. Is it just me, or does it seem weird at all that there are multiple academies that train apparently hundreds of students, and yet no one has heard about this until now? There are never any bitter dropouts or the like? The sensei does say that they're not being controlled, and they're equally confused about why the Thunder Rangers didn't finish them off. Later, Zergain tries to finish off the Rangers himself, but Lothor recalls him because... I have no idea. The Thunder Rangers attack again, this time equipped with motorcycles, the same kind that Cam designed for the Ninja Storm Rangers, thanks to a disc stolen off of Dustin, as well as their own Zords. The Insectizord and Beetlezords are pretty cool, with cloaking devices as well as tank-style weaponry. Of course, the two can form their own Thunder Megazord, and the two giant machines rumble. The battle's actually pretty damn good, and the situation made worse when Cam tries to send them a new weapon, but the Thunder Rangers intercept it and take it for their own Megazord, disabling the Ninja Storm Megazord. And once again they retreat, the Rangers left in their trashed cockpits. There's sadly something else I must comment on here, and that's the music. Ninja Storm, while containing more guitar and rock tracks for the show, sadly does not use them appropriately. The music is just some background thing that doesn't actually match the action. By Time Force and Wild Force, the synth stuff was actually getting pretty good, and particular tracks were very well produced. Here, though, it's just constant, fast-paced music, and it really hurts the tone. What's made worse is that apparently the producers just loved stock public domain music strikes, and it's really noticeable and annoying.
I'm gonna wipe you out, Toe Jam.
Face Ninja Striker!
However, for the first confrontation with the Thunder Rangers, the music guys added a nice little bit to the music that helped punctuate the danger these guys represented. Part 2 begins with the Rangers discovering that their morphers are trashed as well. Oh, and Cam finds a way to be a dick about it.
Well, you've managed to reduce years of technological advance into a pile of scrap metal in a single afternoon. Not to mention what you did to the Zords.
Thanks, Cam. I'm sure it's their fault a bunch of evil Rangers decided to kick their asses. Fortunately, Cam has equipped the Zords with systems that will automatically repair themselves, but it was still a pretty damaging blow. Sensei believes that there's dissension among their little evil alliance, and they can take advantage of it later. The Rangers are feeling down about the loss, though really it's only Tori who's given anything to work with it. I hate to keep comparing it to this, but the Green Ranger saga handled this expertly, with the music underscoring the tension and helping to build up the mystery and threat presented by an evil ranger. Instead, we've got a loud, rocking soundtrack while Dustin and Shane are talking.
Dude, you've changed that oil like 4 times already. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't stop thinking about why those Thunderpunks just didn't destroy us when they had the chance, you know?
And say, what's the best way to downplay the threat of your main villains? How about you have a scene where his niece is painting his nails? Blake shows up and rescues Tori from an attacking monster. Does Tori not wonder why he was riding his motorcycle near the lake while he was in full riding gear, taking a full hit from it? Tori brings Blake back to right outside Ninja Ops to try to help him. While he's supposedly unconscious, he sees Tori going into the hidden entrance. After defeating the monster, the three return to Ninja Ops to discover the Thunder Rangers already there. They demorph and reveal themselves, though the three show no reaction to this news whatsoever. They wish the Rangers luck and kidnap the Sensei, ending Part 2. Part 3 begins with a celebration on board Lothor's ship with everybody dancing. What, you're not even going to take over a juice bar to celebrate your conquest of Earth? Alright, all you've done is kidnap a guinea pig. Truly, Lothor is an evil mastermind. I'm sorry, but the more I see of Lothor hamming it up, cracking jokes, and being so idiotic when it comes to strategies against the Rangers, the more I think Zurgane would have made a better main villain. The group tracks the Sensei to where the Thunder Rangers are taking him, the Mountain of Lost Ninjas, where it's said to have ninja ghosts and a cavern where they can break the energy orb that's currently protecting him. The ninjas talk with their captive guinea pig and exposit that he killed their adoptive parents. They run into ninja ghosts, allowing the Wind Rangers to catch up. The two groups call a temporary truce to fight off the ghosts. Once they're defeated, Zurgane suddenly appears with his own sword. Tori stays behind to fight him alone with the Megazord while the other two chase after the Thunder Rangers. Tori defeats Zurgane with power spheres that come out of nowhere, but the Thunder Rangers get to the cavern first. The three get to them before they kill the Sensei, and the Thunder Rangers say it was Lothor who told them about what happened to their parents. However, the ghosts of said parents appear and reveal that Lothor was responsible for their deaths. Lothor shows up, but before he can take the Sensei himself, Hunter blocks his blast using the Gem of Souls, the crystal they were going to use to kill the Sensei. With the revelation of what happened, Blake and Hunter depart. Following that, we get a good filler episode that has great character development for Cam. We learn that he resents the fact that he didn't get chosen as a ranger. The Sensei explains that the reason why is because he made a promise after his mother died to not allow him to be put into the dangerous life of a ranger. With two fillers out of the way, the story continued in the 4-part Return of Thunder. Tori, deciding she misses Blake, borrows Dustin's bike and heads out searching for him. Meanwhile, Blake and Hunter are contacted by Chubo, who also happens to be another comic relief general, who tells them that he wants to defect. Blake lets the other Rangers know about the apparent defection, and they decide to check it out by trying to sneak onto Lothor's ship. If they can get in and out without difficulty, they'll call in the other Rangers for backup. It's of course a trap, and the two are recaptured by Lothor. The villains brainwash the two so they'll work for Lothor again. After a monster fight, Chubo teleports all 5 to another dimension with a single small island in it. Part 2 begins with a weather disturbance hitting the city, lowering the temperature drastically, a result of the dimensional shift. While on the other world, the two teams have a pretty decent unmorphed fight before morphing again to continue things. The more they fight, the more that the two start to regain their own memories. They blast the two again, but Hunter takes the brunt of the blast, turning on his brother and the other Rangers again. Blake rejoins the Wind Rangers while Hunter gets blasted with some sort of toxic stream that drives him even crazier, ending Part 2. Blake tells the three how they became Rangers, raised by the Thunder Academy after their parents died. When Lothor attacked, their sensei gave them their morphers, and in turn the two were captured. Lothor then told them the lie about their parents' death. Hunter and Blake engage one another, and with the power of sepia tones and flashbacks, they manage to restore him to normal.
Do you know who we are? Yeah, my friends.
Cam manages to finally get in touch with the Rangers and dispatches the Zords to pick them up. As punishment for his failure, Chubo is banished from Lothor's court. Part 4 feels pretty arbitrarily tacked on and feels more like an epilogue episode than part of the previous 3. Chubo goes after the Thunder Rangers as revenge, and the 5 defeat him by combining their Megazords into the Ninja Thunder Megazord, because of course the only thing cooler than one giant robot is 2 giant robots merged into one bigger giant robot. To be perfectly honest, I actually liked Return of Thunder a lot more than Thunder Strangers. It was a much tighter story, and the action was well put together. Thunder Strangers tried to do a lot in too little amount of time. There isn't a very good reason why they even fight the Rangers at all if their goal was the sensei the entire time, and why they'd trust Lothor, who had just kidnapped their entire school, including their own sensei, is never really explained. The resolution of the story happened far too quickly and lacked a lot of emotional resonance when we hadn't even seen a picture of their parents. Return of Thunder worked to give us backstory, good fights, and overall a more enjoyable series of episodes. On the other hand, there's another problem with this stuff in that it introduced the rival Rangers a bit quickly. It's of course a tradition in the series to have a 6th Ranger, but usually they're introduced around a 4th of the way into the season, where in this case they started almost immediately, not really giving the show a chance to really experiment with the 3 Ranger concept for very long. For that matter, having the Rangers fight more than one evil Ranger could have probably lasted a lot longer than it ended up being. Still, I do understand that they're confined by the Sentai footage. Following 2 more filler, another 3-parter hits. The Samurai's Journey. Cam once again demonstrates his martial arts prowess, as well as demonstrating his resentment over not being a ranger.
Cam, everything we're able to do is because of what you're able to do.
It's not enough. I want to be part of it.
You want to be a ranger.
At the end of Tori and Cam's talk, a monster appears, in a really good transition, and the 6 fight. Cam is held back by the Kelzax while the Rangers' powers are drained by the monster. The Rangers try to go out and Cam gives them a temporary power increase so they can fight, even if it's only for a little while. The battle goes well for a while, but after a Megazord fight, the 5 are out of energy. The sensei says there may be a way to help them, but he doesn't want to do it. Cam realizes what he's talking about and engages the Scroll of Time, which allows Cam to travel into the past. While the portal is open, time in the present is frozen, save for Lothor's ship apparently, but the portal is also temporary, so Cam needs to be quick about his journey. Cam arrives in the past and finds the younger version of his father. He also runs into his mother, who was the first female student at the Ninja Academy and trained in the art of samurai combat. She has a pendant that's wanted by his father's brother, who in turn turns out to be studying dark magics. After an awesome fight between Cam and the brother, Kia, Cam unlocks the power of the amulet and stops him. Kia, in turn...
I have no use for your archaic ways or worthless name. From now on, I will take the name of the ancient warrior of evil. From this point forward, I will be known as Lothor.
Cam, not being stupid, tries to tell them to destroy Lothor instead of banishing him, but he needs to return to the future due to dramatic convenience. Cam returns to the present not only with some new duds, but a new Zord as the Green Samurai Ranger.
Oh, yeah! Lasers!
So where the heck did he get that thing anyway? So yeah, the Samurai Store Megazord is awesome and even has a weapon made out of a giant bee. My god. However, Lothor shows up to attack them with his nieces and Kelzax in tow. However, before he can fight them, the sensei teleports the 6 back to Ninja Ops courtesy of a new teleportation system Cam developed. The sensei explains that once a ninja is banished, they cease to exist, so Lothor isn't considered part of the family tree anymore. Seems more than a bit convenient, but whatever. Lothor unleashes 6 monsters, forcing the Rangers to split up to deal with each one. To pad the story out in the most ridiculous manner possible, Cam is bitten by the insect monster and starts turning into a bug.
I can't believe that in my first Ranger battle, I practically get turned into a bug.
Neither can I. It's a seriously rushed thing to do considering it happened with only about 10 minutes left in the episode. Still, in the follow-up battle, we see that he has a super samurai mode where he ditches the shield and his helmet spins around. I should also note that all through the 3-parter, the villains have been engaged in comic relief antics. It really feels out of place with the drama with Cam, and also introduces an absolutely stupid idea that Lothor can only grow one monster at a time. Yeah, I know, necessity of the franchise, but it just means we won't ever see a huge monster brawl in this series. Still, the episode ends well.
What? What are you all smiling about?
Wow! Where did that?
You gotta be part of the team. You gotta have the gear.
It takes a powerful man to choose his own destiny. Congratulations. No father could be prouder of his son.
Hey! All right! Thanks, guys.
Damn, it's there. Color goes and everything.